Hello and welcome. My name is Daffy Roth, and this is a voice of Cart, the Forsaken Maiden, for the PC. I have already started this game. I did a video or two, and they didn't come out. They didn't record correctly, so I'm just gonna scrap it all and just start. So, this is not a direct continuation of the other game. This is a standalone story. I'm not even sure if it takes place in the same world or not. So, but as with the other game, we do have options as far as background music, cards, and tokens and boards and things of that nature. We will deal with those as we go along the playthrough, but for now, we'll just stick with the standard devices. So. Yeah, but without further ado, let's go ahead and get to it.
Ah, I bid you welcome. I shall be your game master for this tale. It is a pleasure to have you. Now then, just like this, I will be using cards to draw you into the world of this story.
A man proclaiming himself to be a great hero has embarked on a journey to slay the dragon.
From time to time, you may be presented with choices like this.
Select left, select right.
Incorrect. It doesn't mean anything, but still. You're following along with all this, I trust? Moving on, I believe your experience of the story will be shaped in no small part by my narration. As such, I hope you'll have rather more fun keeping the sound on while you play. That said, rest assured that the game remains enjoyable without sound. My words will be subtitled just as they are now.
Yeah, go with something. Yeah, remember you can always change these settings later on.
With the formalities sorted, we're all ready to begin the game. My. Yeah, you can hear the sound of the waves. Oh, how very evocative. Now then, let's begin our tale. Allow me to welcome you to the world of Voice of Cards. You're about to step into the shoes of the hero of this tale as he sets forth on a grand adventure. Said adventure takes place in a remote part of the sea, in which ancient traditions are alive and well. You will touch the hearts of many who dwell in this place as you journey to change fate's promise of untold ruin. I believe in you. I believe your journey will be a success.
Aww.
And on that note, it is time for that journey to begin. May the waves see you safely across the tides.
At least someone believes in me.
Our story begins in a secluded grotto. The sound of the waves echoes softly across the rock walls. A solitary young man stands in front of a ship floating in the water. Brush in hand, he busies himself painting the vessel. Once he finishes his work, he decides to carve his name into the side of the hull. A finishing touch.
Right, well, his name is Baron, so we'll go with.
You carve your name in small lettering into the ship. Oh, a handsome name, that. This young lad is the hero of our tale, and your window into the world. You're a navigator without a ship, and your soul yearns to set out upon the ocean blue for your own reasons. You have spent a great deal of time repairing the wrecked ship before you, in the hopes of crafting a partner aboard which you might sail the high seas. The sound of a wooden box tumbling to the ground rips through the grotto. You heave a deep sigh and decide to head over to the source of the racket.
Find whatever made that noise. Your piece is in the middle of the screen. Use the left joystick to move in the direction you want. As you continue on your journey, your objective will change. Press the Y button whenever you need a reminder of what to do next. You will see cards with glowing edges on your adventure. Step onto one to trigger an event that will move the story along.
The source of the noise turns out to be a young girl. It looks as though she has knocked over a wooden box, packed with shipbuilding supplies, and is in quite a panic about it. The girl's name is Laddie. You came across her some time ago, collapsed on a beach. You attempted to bring her to a nearby village, but she was quite opposed to the idea for some reason. As such, she has been helping you repair the ship here. You're not quite sure how to respond to her knocking the box over.
What do I say to her?
You sigh in exasperation, and Laddie's shoulders slump, dejected. You move to leave the grotto, saying, "I'm going to the village to get some food." Laddie waves goodbye, her forlorn smile seeing you off. The young woman has lost her ability to speak. Neither of you have any knowledge of how she ended up in her situation, and you spend many quiet hours together in the grotto. The scent of the sea and a sense of isolation hang heavy in the air. The island is bound for ruin and has had its name since before any can really recall. This is Omega Isle. You take a deep breath and then set out for the nearby Omega Village, which shares the island's name.
Make your way east of the secret grotto to Omega Village. Press the menu button to open the menu. There you can perform various actions such as saving and changing skills or equipment. Okay, so as with the other game, we'll explore all the options that we have going forward, try to find everything that we can find, cover all the endings, and so forth. So yeah, let's just get to it.
Beyond the pier, the ocean sprawls out in all directions, beckoning you to adventure. You have arrived near the entrance of the village. You spy a shadow skulking about in the midst of a thicket. The shadows fall away to reveal a small monster. It's unusual to see one this close to the village. It might be cute, but it's still a monster and a threat. You must slay the beast before it can cause trouble or worse in the village. Don't hold back.
Fight is on. Take down all enemies and victory shall be yours.
An old spire stands tall before you. Alas, there's little reason to go poking around within.
Beyond the pier, the ocean sprawls out in all directions, beckoning you to adventure, just like the other one.
Gorgeous flower beds burst with blossoms that will one day wilt and wither away, much like Omega Village itself. This is a village that has accepted its fate to be but a moment in time, destined to fade.
It's really depressing, actually. Make your way to the home of Omega Villages. Omega.
An island in want of a maiden shall fall, he mutters, to no one in particular. This might be the last time I see this flower bed, the boy says, gazing forlornly at the flowers. Home sweet home. This is no time for a nap. You turn around and walk out the door. How may I help you? The proprietor inquires.
Alright, obviously we don't have any money. I don't know if get the sword though. Oh, never mind, that's our current here.
Will that be all? The proprietor asks.
Weapon, armor, and accessory cards are only effective once you've equipped them to your characters. Open the menu and select equipment to make sure your party is ready for battle.
How may I help you? The proprietor inquires.
Oh, well, the item shop card is different. It's the... Guys, see what we got for items. Oh, that's nice. Here all.
Will that be all? The proprietor asks. A lone woman diligently cleans the grounds of the Maiden shrine. The windows are closed, and it's too dark to see much inside. All sound seems to fall away. I wish I got to be the maiden, the girl says mournfully, dressed head to toe in maiden garb and clearly pretending to be such.
that all the people here? It's like it.
You stop in at the mayor's house and discover that he already has a guest. The two are engaged in discussion. You listen in and learn that they are troubled by monsters that have appeared near the village and have been devouring precious stores of food. The villager sighs deeply. I suppose it's about the end for the village, they say flatly before departing the mayor's home. The man left standing in the room has a certain sagacity about him. He notices you waiting and inclines his head in greeting. His name is Grief. As the village's mayor, he spends his days dealing with all manner of happenings around town. He looks to be at a loss over the damage being caused by the monsters. It would likely be a simple matter for you to deal with the beasts.
I mean,
you offer to deal with the monsters in exchange for some food, and Grief replies with his thanks. You're always a big help. This is part of your daily routine. You work to sort out the village's troubles in order to procure food to eat.
Alright, we need to rid Omega Village and the surrounding environs of monsters.
A monster has appeared before you. It holds what's left of a piece of fruit in its teeth, and its mouth moves restlessly. With a sigh, you mutter, "Let's get this over with then," and ready your weapon. Fight him off.
The number in red indicates HP. If the card's HP drops to 0, it becomes incapacitated. The card's attack is indicated in its lower left and defense in its lower right. Give careful consideration to your and your opponent's values before acting.
With practiced skill, you swing your weapon. The blade flashes through the monster's throat. Merciless. Perfect aim. It would appear that you are quite accustomed to killing. You wipe the blood off your weapon. As you do, you notice a shadow in the distance. Another monster, perhaps?
Throw a weapon at it. Going close for the kill.
Silently, you creep up on the shadow and bring your blade down on it with practiced speed. But the shadow nimbly evades your strike and runs off. Whatever the shadow was, it was taken aback by your unexpected assault. It looks like it ran off in the direction of the spire near the village.
Investigate the spire, northwest of the Omega Village. When your HP is low, either use a healing item from your own cards in the menu or rest at your house in the village. Your cards? Nah, I don't need to right now. Alright, let's wander the island for a bit. These are gems. You'll need to spend them to use certain skills. You gain 1 gem whenever you take an action and can store up to 10 at one time. This icon indicates how many gems the skill costs. You can't use the skill if you don't have enough gems. Nice. Cards afflicted with attack down have lower attack. Ailments last either a set number of turns or until the end of battle. Cards cannot be afflicted with more than 1 ailment at a time. Instead, the new ailment will replace the old one. Check card ailments with the Y button. Well, we kind of already know what ailments adds to this attack. Some of your attacks are elemental in nature. The 6 elements are fire, water, bolt, wind, light, and dark. Cards take more damage from elements they are weak to, and less damage from elements they are resistant against. Knowing your enemy's weaknesses and strengths will help you choose which skills you wield to your advantage. Select items with the X button. Make sure to use items when you need them. When carrying many items, press the LB button or the RB button to scroll. Yeah. Are you kidding me right now?
Yeah, it looks like your adventure ends here.
Well, there's that. So, yeah, I'll be back, and I gotta go through the opening again in a second. Alrighty, and I'm back. So the good news is there's an autosave. So, but we're gonna continue here for a couple more minutes, just doing some fighting and see if we can unlock the backside story here of the monsters on this island.
Congrats.
I'm just missing everything. Oh, nice. Right, we will apply that. Oh, it's already equipped. You fulfilled the necessary requirements to unlock the Sea Hare's enemy story. As items. Let's see. Collection. Characters. Let's see what we got here. Young Navigator. A navigator from Omega Village. Unlike everyone else from the village, he cannot accept the island's impending end. Perhaps because of that, he is not given to smiling or laughter. Laddie, a young woman from the shores of Omega Isle, protected by a young navigator. She has lost her voice for a reason unknown. Black, a creature resembling a charming stuffed animal, calls itself a spirit, but whether its appearance is its true form or something wearing some kind of headgear, no one knows. We haven't come across him, so I'm not sure why he's even in here, unless that's because I had played this previously. Let's see here. Gray, the wise man of the mayor of Omega Village. He always has an open ear for concerns of his people, but he never lets his guard down around anyone. Plain girl, she grew her hair out, though her mother said it looked best short. She wore platform shoes, though her father said they were dangerous. She longed to be all grown up. Why, you ask? Because her parents are no longer in this world to tell her otherwise. She detests her own weakness and just wants to be an adult already. Woman. The woman laments her misfortune, but she buys water that brings happiness to the drinker and stones that bring luck to the wearer. No happiness nor luck does she feel. The waters and the stones all come at steep prices, which her loving husband paid without complaint, but this is what makes her happy. Man, I forsook the isle of my youth. To live here, I don't know a soul. That's fine by me. I'm used to being alone. He left his home island yearning to see the outside world, but so traumatic was his seasickness, he swore never to board another boat. He really would like to go home if he could. Decades ago, I lost my wife in the war. All I can do is watch as life drained out of her. And I know how hard that was for you, Grandpa, but that happened yesterday. Please try to focus. Blacksmith. The blacksmith has with a tender smile. His gentle demeanor and honest strength, forged in his daily work, has won the hearts of all around him. Long ago, he was an adventurer. No fiend was fierce to challenge. He opened a shop he runs today with the gear he collected back then. Maybe they do share a world. Accessory shop owner. Jewels have it best. Value solely for their beauty with no regard for their shape before they were cut. Don't you agree? Got monsters. Sea hare. An adorable, carefree though they appear, these beloved creatures have a staggering number of natural predators that keep them locked in a fierce fight for survival. They are, however, extremely difficult to digest. Should they be eaten, they can gnaw their way out of their predator's stomach. Furball. There exists a village where these creatures are kept as pets. Their excess fur is sheared off and used to make exceptionally soft and luxurious clothing that's highly sought after. Red fungo. These teensy, seemingly innocuous creatures are known to be skilled hunters who use the laws of large numbers to overwhelm larger prey. Wolf. A gourmand among beasts will stop at nothing for the taste of flesh and often prowls alone, so it needs never to share its kills. Oh. Okay. All right, well, I'm gonna continue farming a little bit. I want to get the rest of the backside stories. The villagers technically wouldn't have unlocked until a little bit later, but we'll come to that. So yeah, I will be back in just a moment. All right, and we're back. Let's look at the enemies that we unlocked. Furball. There exists a... Wait, where you read that? If their fur does not grow apace, or is deemed too coarse, however, they are slaughtered for food with a poor reputation that rots as often as it sells. What people cannot see, however, is a vast network of mycelia that covers the forest floor and serve as the linchpin of their impeccable communication abilities. Its favorite meal is adventure of flesh seasoned with bitter tears of fear and regret. Consequently, this is the one meal for which it will join a pack to obtain. Well, that explains why they attack in packs. 2 or so. Okay, well, let's head to the tower.
You stand before the Spirit Spire, said to have been erected to protect the island. Yet with the villagers having accepted ruination, it now stands forlorn, an edifice without a purpose. This place, so named for the spirits themselves, is one that the villagers do not enter. Despite this, you say to yourself, I have to get rid of the monster, and decide to profane the place with your presence.
Hunt down the monster that retreated into the Spirit Spire. You who enters spirit.
There are some words etched into the door, but they are weathered and difficult to read. Worried though you are about whatever the words might say, you nonetheless try pushing the handle. With some protest, the door groans open. You spy the shadow of the monster you encountered earlier. Your insight that it had taken refuge in the spire has proven a good one. The shadow notices your presence and flies off at blinding speed. You can't help but admire the rapid escape, though it looks like you're back to chasing after a shadow.
pursue the monster up the spirit spire.
You survey your surroundings, relying on the shafts of sunlight filtering in through the windows. However, you're unable to see the monster from where you are.
Search the second floor of the spirit spire for signs of the monster.
In the back of the large hall, there is an altar, which evinces a sense of deep mystery. The altar is wrought of a strange kind of stone, its surface polished smooth. It looks as though it's meant for use in some important ritual. You approach the altar to check that there are no places for monsters to hide themselves away inside it.
Maiden, here.
In reply to the mysterious and unidentifiable voice that suddenly rent the silence, you ask in a sharp tone, "Who's there?"
Spirit.
You strain your ears, trying to make out the broken snippets of words echoing off the chamber walls.
Laddie.
After speaking a word that rings familiar to your ears, Laddie, the voice becomes impossible to hear. It cannot be. Could you truly have heard the voice of the spirit from the Maiden's myth passed down on the island? All signs of the monster you were in pursuit of seem to have vanished. For the time being, you decide to return to the village and report your success.
Inform the mayor of Omega Village that the monsters have been vanquished.
When you arrive at the mayor's house, there is a young visitor already there. She looks to be making an impassioned request of Greeth. In a wearied voice, Greeth replies, "There is no longer any maiden in our village." Admonished, the girl leaves the house with disappointment written across her expression. You inform the mayor that you've taken care of the monsters around town. As thanks for completing the job, the mayor hands you a basket of fruit. Oh, good, you think to yourself. Another day, another basket of fruit.
As you encounter various cards during the adventure, they are added to your collection in the menu. You can read special stories about the characters and enemies along your collected cards. Progress through the adventure and defeat the myriad of enemies in your path to collect every special story. Nah, we already did. Yeah. You can jump over to upward-facing terrain cards. Use the right stick to choose the direction you want to jump, then press B. Try jumping to the secret grotto. No, I won't. I'm gonna walk. I can't get it to work. Besides, more money.
Congrats. You re-enter the grotto and announce your return. On a normal day, Laddie would already have zipped over to greet you. But today, nothing.
Speak with Lady in the secret grotto. I got yelled at her earlier. Good jerk.
You walk over to Laddie and discover that she is sound asleep. Life in the grotto is not one of creature comforts. Rather, a fair few inconveniences. You've tried several times to bring Laddie to the village, but she was adamantly opposed on every occasion. You sometimes catch glimpses of her face while she sleeps. Always it is contorted in anguish, as though she is in the throes of a terrible nightmare. You notice a bulky book lying open next to Laddie, filled with carefully drawn words and images. It seems to be some kind of picture book that Laddie made herself. You know, I confess, I am... You can't help but feel like you ought to refrain. But in the end, you cannot overcome your curiosity.
Why?
And decide to take a look at the picture book.
Why you give me a choice if the choices aren't going to matter? Just take your cue from Mass Effect.
Beside evocative images of deep forests and towering mountain ranges, Laddie has written a story patterned after the Maiden's myth. The picture book story is set in a small village replete with nature. The village enjoys the promise of peace and tranquility, thanks to the young woman born to be the Maiden. The Maiden goes before the altar to perform a ritual, which invokes the power of a great spirit to protect the village. You look over the artwork, a spitting recreation of the altar you saw in the spire, and think back on the mysterious voice. The voice claimed it was a spirit, and you're certain it spoke Laddie's name. You are so caught up in the thoughts racing through your head that you fail to notice Laddie had awakened. Laddie seems embarrassed that you've seen her book. Tears prick the corners of her eyes. If Laddie were indeed the maiden, it would be no exaggeration to call her the very light of hope, a protective force that could save the island from its encroaching ruin. With faint expectation tightening your chest, you consider taking her to the altar in the spire.
Speak with Laddie again.
You've given Laddie some of the fruit you brought back. She dreamily stuffs some of it into her mouth. Maybe she likes it. You hope so. Your stomach rumbles as you watch her. And together, the two of you enjoy a light meal.
Lady joins your party. Laddie to the spirit spire. Ciao. While exploring the world and diving deep into dungeons, you will encounter enemies with which you must do battle. Your adventure will be over if everyone in your battle party is KO'd. Should your journey meet an unfortunate end, you can continue for your last save point, so it is in your interest to save often. Select data from the menu screen to save. There is also an autosave feature to periodically keep you covered. Yeah, I probably should save. Alright, let's get her to the...
You take Laddie with you and return to the spire. As you approach the entrance of the spire, the staff that Laddie clutches close begins to emit a faint light. Seeing the mysterious light, you are convinced Laddie has a deep connection to the spire. Her expression uneasy. Laddie takes hold of your sleeve with a tentative touch.
Guide Laddie to the spirit spire's altar.
You stand before the altar once more, bathed in an air of mysticism. The light emitting from Laddie's staff intensifies, as if indicating its destination.
Excellent. The Maiden.
In response to the enigmatic voice, Laddie's staff exudes a dazzling light. A spirit appears right before your eyes. Well, maybe it's a spirit? It's some kind of strange stuffed animal.
I am the spirit Kaf.
The stuffed toy seems to be affecting a voice of considerable gravitas and choking itself in the process. This creature is called Lack. Though you cannot be certain it speaks the truth, it claims to be a spirit. You approach, hoping to ask about the maiden. But with blinding speed, Lack zooms behind Laddie, putting her between you as a shield. You're the one from before, Lack says, quaking. It would appear that you're mistaking the creature for a monster, and doggedly chasing after it has made it rather afraid of you. You hold out an offer of reconciliation, and Lack takes it and immediately starts munching away. Between bites, it says, "You've got some good taste there." You're not really sure if the make good worked out, But in any event, Lack looks willing to listen to you now. You ask about the maiden once more, and Lack begins to talk a lot. It seems to enjoy doing so. Just as the maiden's myth handed down amongst the denizens of the island suggests, it explains, Laddie was indeed born to be the maiden here. However, she was unable to take up her role. This has caused no small amount of distress over the island's inevitable destiny to sink beneath the raging waves. Lack concludes with a proposal. How's about you go and meet with the other maidens and fetch the maiden's relics? As you had hoped, Laddie appears to be the key to the island's salvation.
Ask what Lack means in greater detail.
This island is not the only one home to a spirit. There are islands throughout this archipelago, and upon each dwells one of the 4 maidens who govern their own spirit. The self-proclaimed spirit explains that if you bring the maiden's relics that each of these maidens possess back to this spire, Laddie will be able to become a maiden herself. Laddie shows the staff in her hand, wearing an expression that seems to say, "This is a maiden's relic."
Get maiden's relics?
You ask, should we kill the maidens and steal the relics?
Yes, there you go.
Laddie shakes her head rapidly, as if to insist that you definitely should not do that. As Lack explains, each maiden has an attendant, an escort, and protector. This would make it difficult to take the relics by brute force.
Well, it doesn't mean it's not possible, though.
If Laddie becomes a maiden and performs the maiden's ritual at the altar, the island can be saved. The world-changing immensity of what you have just learned echoes in your mind. It takes you a little while to fully digest it. But it does just so happen you've been readying a seaworthy vessel for your own purposes. You accept Lack's proposal to help Laddie become a maiden. So, you want me to poof you back to the entrance?
Yes, sir, I would very much like that, sir.
You decide to make for the spire's exit. Don't hold back.
Oh.
Accompanied by your new allies, you make to enter the village. But Laddie seems to find something about this idea disagreeable and clings to a tree nearby, refusing to budge. "Oh, I got this one," says Lack, evidently with some kind of plan in mind. The fluffy creature begins to chant a sort of mysterious spell.
Wanna waka, wanna waka.
Suddenly, Laddie's face is transformed into that of an odd old man's. Laddie touches her transformed visage, and then gives a thumbs up, perhaps as if to say, "Good job, you are a Gog." But Laddie looks sideways at you as she walks into the village, her identity now safely hidden. This is your home. A desk pushed up near the wall is adorned with an unfurled map and a scattering of books. The navigation map is of your own design and depicts the various islands in this region of the sea. It contains information on the maidens of those nearby islands, culled meticulously from books, and that before all of this, you had found yourself unable to merely sit and watch the village's decline, and so planned a voyage to seek aid from the maidens of the other islands. After popping into the back room, you emerge with a carefully polished ship's wheel and present it to your companions.
Part of a ship, lovingly polished to near bare sheen.
It is the final piece of the ship you restored at the grotto. With it, you will finally be able to set sail on the voyage you have dreamed of for so long. You have made ready for the voyage, but before you set sail, you decide to stop in at the mayor's to say your farewells.
Make your way to the home of the Omega Village's sheep.
Greeth's eyes fall over the unfamiliar face behind you. And who do we have here?
I can see the laddie's face, like, so funny. Yeah, my girlfriend.
At your quick response, Greeth blinks a few times in confusion.
Is she beautiful?
His eyes dart back and forth between the pair of you, as though his brain is putting together the pieces of a complex puzzle. At length, he offers a deep nod. You'll need to clear up the misunderstanding later. Changing the subject, you explain to the mayor that you'll be leaving the village for a little while on a voyage to save the island. You felt sure that the mayor, with his love of the village, would see you off with a smile. And yet the moment you explain that you found a maiden who can save the island, his attitude changes like the fickle sea winds, and he voices opposition to your journey. This island is destined to meet its end, he says. You can practically sense him digging his feet in.
What the hell? Like, yeah.
You cannot fathom why he, the mayor of the village, would believe something like that. Though each of you hold the island in your hearts, you cannot reconcile the difference of opinion. Like lovers going their separate ways after an acrimonious spat, it looks as though you will be setting out on bad terms. You believe that your desire to save the island will prove to be the right perspective.
Yeah. No, it's destined to have everybody die.
Do lend me a hand with the cleaning when you return, she beseeches, never breaking stride with her broom.
Close. Awesome. That's copy then. Alright, let's stop at the shop. I'll buy. Oh, wow, I thought I had a lot more money than that. We'll sell. Let's find some gold. Yeah. One final battle on Omega Isle. Come on, man. Did one job.
Congrats.
Thank you. I'll try my best. Oh, nice thunderbolt.
Your ship. Your trusted companion. Once a mere wrecked husk that you labored to bring back to life with months of sweat and toil. You climb up to the stern, and with every bit of care you can muster, you attach the wheel. The final stroke upon the canvas. At last, your ship is finished. The vessel's design is patterned after a great whale. There are a number of mismatched parts, but that particular quirk only makes you love it all the more. As you look over your handiwork, you realize that your companion on this upcoming journey will need a name. What would a fitting name be, you ponder?
Your companions appear to be... You know... I was mean to her earlier.
Laddie tears a page from her book and then scribbles a name down on it. In her small handwriting is written, The Bon Vent. According to Lack, the words are a kind of prayer in the language of the spirits for safe passage when bidding one farewell on a long journey. A farewell said before long journeys. The words could make a fitting appellation for your ship. You're unsure of just how much you ought to trust Lack or his skill with words, but nonetheless, decide to go with Laddie's suggestion. Together, you load up the Bon Vent with the necessary provisions. Preparations for your departure are now finished.
Now then, shall you set sail on your journey for the Maidens? Heck yeah, let's go.
You throw your hands upon the ship's wheel and shout, "Weigh anchor!" with gusto. Your voyage has begun. Though your ship had long since forgotten the taste of seawater, it nonetheless cuts through the waves like a fillet knife through fresh fish. It is your first sea voyage. Laddie's eyes glitter as she looks out at the horizon, stretching ever onward over the endless blue expanse. She opens up your homemade navigation map, checking the locations of the islands where the other maidens live. On the island to the south of here lives a beauteous maiden garbed in azure robes, as though the sky itself is wrapped around her. After closing up the map, you grasp the wheel like a familiar old friend and tell the ship where you'd like to go. You now have free rein to sail across the sea as you see fit. New tales await you when you put into port on an island where a maiden dwells.
Venture south of Omega Island, search for the islands of the brink. Yeah, well, no. Now that your ship is complete, you can sail the sea. Your piece will automatically change on land or sea. But that, my friends, is an adventure for the next video. I mean, it's not much different than the first game. I'm still disappointed at lack of... I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the narration, but I would love to hear the GM give different voices to the characters. That would just put it up on top. So, yeah, other than that, don't know what to expect from here on out. This is about as far as I've gotten. So, yeah, I look forward to completing this adventure because if anything like the first one, we're in for a ride. Because while it's lighthearted for sure, there were a ton of dark tones and dark stories in the first game. So, but yeah. So without further ado, my friends, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for hanging out with me as always. Your time is precious to me as well as your support. Give the video a thumbs up. And if you didn't like it, let me know what you didn't like about it, because I would enjoy that feedback greatly. So, so yeah, with that being said, friends, stay true to yourselves, follow your hearts, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.